taking the production value up a couple of notches here. So I'm actually gonna pre-record this and edit it up. All sorts of cool graphics. That's not happening. I'm gonna record it and just upload it to YouTube. I have questions for Mike. So people will ask me questions. I'm looking at the computer screen over here at some questions I've got, and I thought I'd answer a couple of them. Actually, I'm just gonna answer one today. Trying to keep this whole motivation fitness thing for those of you that are following along here. I figure I can answer questions from time to time, and people do either text message me or email me stuff. So I'm like, hey, if it's cool, can I talk about it and answer those questions like I would back in the day when I was working at my supplement store in West Hollywood. Oh, and today's sponsorship is the shake that I make for myself, which is ice, water, 5 grams of creatine, 2 cups of spinach, and my favorite post-workout protein. In this case, I'm using Beverly International's Chocolate Muscle Provider. Again, no paid testimonial, and I throw in a tablespoon of almond butter. Now, again, everything that I say is going to be scrutinized, I'm sure, by the fitness bros, the professionals, and all you fake natties out there, but that's okay. This is what I like to do. It's what I've done before, and it works for me. In the past, I've kept fat out of my post-workout drinks. I'm gonna try it now for a little bit with some almond butter in there. I'm more calorie conscious now, so I'm actually tracking my calories. So we'll see if it makes a difference. If I get more bloated or if I notice that my stomach and my back fat aren't going away, then I'll probably scrap the almond butter, but I won't go back to Bojangles. Heard it here first. So the first question, pop quiz hot shot, 43-year-old female, about 140 pounds, has had 3 kids and has tried every kind of diet. Does light, minimal exercise, walking and some body movement exercises, but can only seem to maintain or lose weight if she's eating 800 to 900 calories a day. That sucks. Obviously, less than ideal and not feasible for long-term solution. What's the best way to give her metabolism a jump start? Hey, you're talking to the right guy here. For those of you that actually know me, I'm a former, this is probably offensive, but hey, it was me. I was a former fat kid. I always had issues with my weight. So like a lot of people that you see out there that, actually let's take Chris Hemsworth, for example, Thor. The dude was a skinny surfer guy and a fake natty, and he did whatever he did and he bulked up, but he stayed ripped. I'm the kind of guy that can get really big easily, but it's really hard for me to lose body fat. So that's why I really have to follow my diet specifically, and I've got to train hard and I got to know what I'm doing. So I feel confident knowing that I can answer this to the best of my ability. So this is just my advice to this person somewhere north of the Mason-Dixon line. The first thing I would look at is calories in, calories out. In this case, she's barely taking any calories at all, and you're gonna be miserable. So the calories that you do take in should count. One thing that a good friend of mine back out in West Hollywood always told me, Abbas, there are certain people in the fitness industry that when they talk, I really listen, and he's one of those. Probably one of, if not the smartest guy in the game. And he would always tell me, whatever you eat that makes you sweat, eat that. I was like, huh. Because there are times, you just sit down and eat something and you just start sweating. He's like, that's what you want to eat. That's revving the engine. And I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. I would tell her, first of all, pay attention to that. If you're eating something that's making you sweat, that's probably what you want to be doing to get that metabolism fired up. So keep that in the diet. Another thing you do is protein. As far as proteins go, protein shakes are easy, but when you're doing meats, especially red meat, it takes your body a lot more energy to break down meats than it would like pizza dough or bread, or you take like white bread and put water on it, it just basically disintegrates. Your stomach enzymes are going to crush that. Throw a ribeye down or a fillet or a sirloin, and your body is going to have to put some work in. It's going to have to put in the work with a Q, bro. And that's going to help rev your metabolism up because your body is going to be working harder just by trying to digest the food that you ate. Eggs, another food that I would, if we're talking about the food part first, eggs, every time I did eggs, you can't do it now because eggs are like worth their weight in gold. But back in the day when they were cheap, I did my diet with 36 eggs a day. I was probably doing like 10 to 12 yolks. But when I was doing crazy amount of eggs, that was like the hardest and most vascular my physique ever was. I did a photo shoot and I was like, I'm pretty ripped. It sounds like this is an aesthetic question, not just like I want to lose a bunch of weight. It sounds like I want to look better. So eggs in the diet, if you can afford it. If not, get some chickens. I'm sure where this text message is coming from, there may or may not be a fellow that owns a pickup truck in them parts. So if there is, ask them how to raise your own chickens. Just a thought. Other stuff you can do is chili peppers, anything with high levels of capsaicin. Again, this is going to depend on if you like spicy food or not. I love spicy food, so it's no problem. adding any kind of chili powder or anything with that spicy kick that's got capsaicin, which is what makes peppers hot, that speeds up your metabolism. They're talking to the bros out there. Have you ever sat down to a plate of hot wings and you're eating them and you start sweating? Once again, that's gonna help speed up your metabolism. And there's a lot of other health benefits that are going on here. I'm just giving this as absolute basic cookie cutter answers as I can. Chili powders, hot stuff, good. I would notice a lot too when I got up and did my morning cardio on an empty stomach, just black coffee. It's cheap and it's effective. Tea, especially green tea, that has great fat burning thermogenic effects. Keep it just straight. If you're drinking tea, just drink tea. Don't put sweeteners in it, no milk, same with coffee, no creamers, just straight the way it comes. Black coffee, green tea. Going back to that first thing by my buddy Abbas, do what makes you sweat. Black coffee makes me sweat. Drink tons of water. Tons and tons and tons of water. And one thing you can do, and I think I'm gonna make a video on this, I call it my Mike's Magic Tea, and it's basically green tea, a little bit of weaponized cayenne powder. I've got stuff that's like off the chain with Scoville unit. Scoville unit is how hot it is. Like a habanero is really high, a jalapeno would be a lot lower, but this is like serious cayenne pepper. And then I add some essential amino acids or branched chain amino acids. You're probably better off with essential amino acids, but I get lemon flavor. And a big gallon of water and just sip on that all day long. Notice the sweat starts rolling when I do that as well. I'll get into that more in detail later. This is just a quick, here's what I would do off the top of my head situation. As far as the exercise goes, anytime I've ever lost a lot of body fat and really revved up my metabolism, sadly, it's not from going to the gym and sitting on a recumbent bike. You sit there and just kind of go, while reading the paper, sorry, not gonna cut it. Be great if it did. And I see a lot of bodybuilders doing that and like walking on the treadmill at a high incline for 45 minutes. That's all fine and dandy. But you're asking me how to rev up your metabolism? I'm telling you how I'd rev up my metabolism. Do high intensity interval training, full body training. So don't just go in and do arms. Do a full body situation, really get your body cranking. That's gonna help speed up your metabolism. You could do sprints, I hate them. Take a look at this puppy. I don't know if you can see that or not. Yep, that right there, that's a busted Achilles tendon. Blew my Achilles tendon out back in 2005 doing sprints. So if you do sprints, just make sure you're warmed up. One thing I like to do now is I never just take off and go. I like to kind of jog into my sprint. But if you go to like a local high school track or whatever you got available, the track, sprint the straightaways and then just either walk or jog and catch your breath on the corners. That's a good one. Jumping rope is fantastic. That's why boxers do it. They've always got to make weight. Those guys have metabolisms that are cranking. They work the heavy bag, they work the speed bag, and they jump rope and they burn tons of body fat. So that's something you can do as well. You've got to make some lifestyle changes, which is going to be kind of like a three-pronged situation. It's going to be your diet, your exercise, and your lifestyle. And what I mean by lifestyle is, as much as I'd love to tell you, hey, tequila, it's paleo. Yeah, it's part of the caveman diet. Or hey, listen, just do vodka and use like club soda with a splash of lime. The bottom line is that whenever you take an alcohol, your body's recognizing it as a poison and your body has to take energy away from digestion, metabolism, and everything else and shut it down and detoxify yourself. That's what it is. I'm not telling you not to drink. I'm telling you if you want to get lean, you probably should cut it out. Once again, in my opinion, any time I've ever lost substantial amounts of weight, ended up on the cover of a magazine, got ready for a movie, I've cut alcohol out, and it's so much easier to lose body fat. Does it suck? Yeah. I mean, I'm living in Alabama now. Nothing like having some barbecue going on and cracking open a cold beer. But I'm not doing it right now because I'm gonna get back on a romance cover. Other than that, keep firing those questions out. I'll keep answering them. Like, subscribe, the whole shebang. And while you're at it, really try the shake. It's actually pretty good. I know it looks like swamp water, but I don't care. I think it's delicious. Keep the pinky down.